The NDP Liberal Prime Minister has implemented a wacko and radical drug decriminalization and handout program. He's literally handed out tax-funded opioids. The result has been tragic, a nearly tripling in the number of overdose deaths, and where the policy has been most deeply implemented in BC, a 300% increase in overdose deaths. Prime Minister did a last-minute reversal on decriminalization in that province, only to vote back in favor of decriminalization yesterday. Isn't it his plan to decriminalize across Canada if he's re-elected?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the fact is we will continue to be there responsibly on a science-based, evidence-based approach that works with jurisdictions on the tools they need to counter the growing opioid and toxic drug epidemic. I understand the ideological desire by Conservatives to simply look at every problem as if it's a nail because all they have is a hammer. We're going to continue to be there, investing in community supports. We're going to be there to continue to work with jurisdictions who want to help people struggling with addictions, and we will continue to be there to ground in science and evidence.
Did you guys see that video of him actually swinging a hammer?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Imagine
it's ridiculous.
You're a young couple in a hospital welcoming your newborn into the world, and all of a sudden you smell meth or crack smoke coming down the hallway. That was the reality up until just a few weeks ago in British Columbia, when because the Prime Minister and the NDP had decriminalized crack. And if those parents had asked the nurse to stop it, they would have said, no, that can't happen. These drug uses are now legal. We're introducing the Safe Hospitals Act to ban all hard drugs from hospitals. Will the Prime Minister support it? Yes or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, to be clear, those things are already illegal in hospitals. We know that nurses and hospital staff need to feel safe in their work environment, and it's our government that has invested billions of dollars into the healthcare system to ensure Canadians have access to the best care possible, and support goes to our frontline health workers. The important difference between the Conservative Party and us is that while they look to criminalize the most vulnerable struggling with addictions, we are rolling up our sleeves and working with all levels of government to put an end to this crisis and help these most vulnerable Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Ottawa Vanier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For many, costs are an obstacle that prevent access to health care, particularly when it comes to reproductive health care. The right to access to an abortion is threatened in Canada by the March Against Abortion, which took place here in Ottawa, encouraged and followed by Conservative members who promised again to restrict access to health care. Young people here in Ottawa Vanier are worried. They want to know, what is the government doing to fight against these threats on the rights of women? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I'd like to thank the member for Ottawa Vanier for her very hard work and her leadership. Across the way, the Conservative members are proposing anti-choice legislation. They participate in rallies against abortion, and the Conservative leader not only refuses to oppose his caucus, but even voted with them on a bill that would have classified the fetus as a person. Women have the right to choose, and that's why we are making prescription contraceptives free, and we will continue to defend the right to choose.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
After 9 years of this NDP Liberal Prime Minister's wacko crime policies, extortions are up 218% nationally, 263% in Ontario, roughly the same in Alberta, and roughly 400% in British Columbia. The Prime Minister passed a law that would allow extortionists out of jail faster after they've used a gun. Will he reverse himself and support my common sense Conservative Deputy Leader's bill to crack down on extortionists and put them in behind bars to stop the crime?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the problem with the Conservative leader's approach on crime is it consistently gets struck down by the courts. That's what we saw through 8 years of Stephen Harper, which actually led Canadians worse off than before. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, our approach on cracking down on criminals while at the same time making sure our communities are safer by strengthening the gun laws the Conservatives are continually voting against in the pocket of the gun lobby is not keeping Canadians safe. That's why we worked with the provinces on bail reforms that are going to make sure we're keeping Canadians safe while making sure we're charter compliant.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister was not forced by the courts to allow career car thefts to do their sentences in their living rooms, playing Grand Theft Auto. He chose to do that through his bill C5. He chose to bring in catch and release bail through C75. He chose to pass a law allowing Paul Bernardo out of Max Penn. Mr. Speaker, now we can make another choice. Instead of trying to ban Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle, will he put extortionists who use machine guns in jail?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition has continually pledged to make assault-style weapons legal again. We have banned them for the past 4 years, and we will continue to make sure that they stay banned in this country while the Leader of the Opposition wants to bring back assault-style weapons to our communities and to Canadians from coast to coast to coast. That's not how to keep this community safer. On top of that, Mr. Speaker, in the name of protecting Canadians from crime, he's willing to suspend their fundamental freedoms by using the notwithstanding clause to override the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's not responsible, and it makes you wonder what other rights is he going to come after on Canadians.
Paul Bernardo should not have any rights. The judge said that will never be rehabilitated ever in his
Speaker,
life.
military-style assault rifles have been banned since the 70s. The Prime Minister held a press conference with a big, scary gun on the front of his podium 4 years ago and still hasn't been able to figure out how to ban that scary-looking cartoon gun with 1,500 guns under amnesty to this day. And he says he won't be able to figure out how to do it for at least another 3 years. So, will the Prime Minister stop his made-in-Hollywood approach to crime and actually lock up the hard criminals so that we can stop the crime?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for the past 4 years, it has been illegal to buy, sell, or use assault-style weapons in this country, and that is exactly what the Conservative leader has promised to overturn if he gets elected to government in this country. The reality is he wants to bring back assault-style weapons in this country after we banned them back in 2000. We're going to continue to be there to make sure Canadians are safe while he stays in the pocket of the gun lobby. That's not what Canadians want. That's not even what Conservative Canadians want, but he's going to do it anyway.
Legal gun owners are the least likely to commit a crime.
The Honourable Member from Davenport.
Mr. Speaker, while our government works to provide pharmacare, expand childcare, introduce a national school food program, and build housing, Conservative MPs are giving speeches at anti-abortion rallies. Reproductive health is health. Women have the right to choose when and if they start a family. With members of this House threatening to take this right away from Canadians, what is this government doing to strengthen reproductive rights?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member for Davenport is right. Reproductive health is health, and abortion is health care. The Leader of the Opposition pretends to care about freedom, but whose freedom was he defending? By threatening to suspend Canadians' charter rights, by voting to restrict abortion, or by removing the right to vote from thousands of Canadians when he was Minister of Democratic Institutions. That is the very opposite of freedom. We will never back down from defending all Canadians' fundamental rights and freedom.
He's never said that. Pierre's just looking at him like smiling. I've never
The
said
Honourable
that.
Member from Windsor West.
2 years after the illegal border blockade at Ambassador Bridge, the Liberals are stiffing the City of Windsor by not paying back the city for costs for handling this mess. Canadians are used to being ripped off by big grocery stores and big telecoms, but now they can add the Liberals to that list. And where were the Conservatives while this happened? On the sidelines, cheering on this harm. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister asked Windsor to protect our country, so why is he rewarding this attack on the economy, public safety, and frontline workers by not paying Windsorites back the money that they're owed?
Hear, hear.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member knows full well that we paid back a significant amount of the costs incurred by the City of Windsor during the Conservative-supported convoy. There is a matter of a dispute around whether those legal fees, were to be covered by the federal government. And I know the Minister of Public Safety is meeting with the Mayor of Windsor tomorrow, and I'm sure that'll be on the discussion. In the meanwhile, we've continued to stand up for Windsor with historic investments in jobs and opportunities for Windsorites that, quite frankly, Conservatives continue to stand against, while we will continue to be there for the people of Windsor.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Member from Kitchener Centre.
Mr. Speaker, earlier this week, the University Network for Human Rights published a 100-page report concluding that Israel's actions in Gaza constitute genocide. Now, the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor is seeking arrest warrants for both Hamas terrorists and Israeli leaders. There's no equivalency being made. These individuals may simply be accused of breaking international law, which the court is tasked to uphold. Will the PM support the ICC's process, as is the will of this Parliament from March 18th?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, obviously we're closely monitoring the processes as they unfold at the ICC. We respect the independence of the court. There is no equivalence between Israel and Hamas. One is a state, the other is a terrorist organization. As we've said from the beginning, all parties have a necessary obligation to comply with international law. In the meanwhile, an immediate ceasefire is urgently needed, and a lot more humanitarian aid needs to get in, and hostages need to be released. We will continue to stand for a two-state solution. We will continue to call for peace in the region.